Facing two giants of America. Today we are going to talk about North America. Although Mexico and the United States share the same border of almost 3,000 kilometers, there are many differences between both cultures, which celebrate and define the heritage of each country. Mexico sees the United States as a country of precarious conditions and as a popular place for vacations, just that it also finds in that country an escape route for so many years of crisis. For both nations are much more than that. So we invite you to know 10 differences between Mexico and the United States. And without further ado, let's get started!
Let's get it started in here, yeah.
When family is compared both in Mexico and the US, in the Aztec country, family is a priority. People who live in Mexico have a tremendous connection with their family members. In the US, on the other hand, the family is usually second on the list, after work. This is reflected in the raising of the children in home. American infants are educated in such a way that they become independent more quickly. Along the same line, the wife in Mexico plays a domestic role in most cases, while in the US, the emancipation of women is much more present in society. Although the macho culture in Mexico is not the same as in past decades, it is still present in some parts of the country. Many Latin American countries are quite passionate about their customs, history and traditions, and Mexico is no exception. Whether it's for the recognition of the food, the fame of the artists, or the love of the varied geography, it is not denied how patriotic the Mexican population is. The United States, by contrast, it's probably the country with the most patriotism in the world, along with China and Russia. All its culture and its way of life revolve around exalting the country, its people and its values. Many say that Hollywood is a machine to sell the American giant to the rest of the world, and the phrase "the American dream" resonates with force through the whole planet. Except for the Native American Indians, the entire population of the United States is constituted by individuals and their families who immigrated to the country. In the beginning, most of the immigrants came from Europe, which is why European Americans represent the 75% of the total population. Currently, Hispanics and Latin Americans make up the largest ethnic minority, while the people of Mexico are constituted by a variety of different heritages. Since Mexico achieved independence from Spanish colonization in the early 1800s, a fusion between pre-Columbian indigenous and Europeans who stay in the country after the colonization helped to create the unique multi-ethnic culture that makes up Mexico today. In the US, there is no such thing as traditional American food, simply because the United States is the melting pot of many different heritages and cultures. The cuisine will vary depending on the location, and it's influenced by the people who live in that territory. For example, the dishes that are made in areas with a high cultural load, such as New Orleans, will vary considerably from the more urban gastronomy of LA or Chicago. And not to mention its hundreds of fast food chains, which have become global icons. While the Mexican food, in its own way, it's a refer of a great respect all over the planet, thanks to the combination of unique smells, colors, and flavors. Dishes such as tacos or tamales have a guaranteed place in the cuisine history. The cost of living in Mexico is much lower than in the United States, and this is true in all cases: rent, fuel, food, and public transportation, except when it comes to buying clothes, footwear, and similar products. Popular American brands are very difficult to find in Mexico due to high import taxes. For this reason, it's common that certain people smuggle these products across the border to sell them for 5 times the retail price on Mexico. But in general, the latest data reflects that the cost of living in the US is 104% more expensive than in its Mexican neighbor. The culture of entertainment and parties in Mexico is far above any activity that exists in the US when it comes to celebrate. Yes, people from both countries love to party, but Mexico takes this to another level, and usually a meeting becomes a huge party and a moment that you will remember for a long time, whether you're at the beach destination or at the city. And although Americans are usually quite receptive and cheerful, they usually carry the party with a bit calmer. And although Mexicans live the festivities with intensity, their lifestyle is not like that. Mexicans live day by day in a more relaxed way, while in the US, as they colloquially say, time is money. In terms of festivities, in the US stands out celebrations such as Halloween, Thanksgiving or Veterans Day. And in Mexico, the Day of the Dead, Independence Day, and the Holy Week stands out. Not only 3,035 kilometers separate Washington, D.C. from Mexico City, but also a series of remarkable differences. In first place, Mexico City has a population of 21 million people, being the fifth most inhabited megacity on the planet. For its part, Washington only reaches 650,000 people, or 5 million if we count its metropolitan area. In second, it is well known that although Washington is the capital of the US and the political center of the nation, states like New York or California are considered the cultural and economic focus. California alone is the fifth largest economy in the world, surpassing countries like the United Kingdom, while Mexico City in comparison is the political, economical, social, academic, financial, business, cultural, and communication center of the entire Mexican territory. Unlike the United States, where a wide variety of religions are practiced, Mexico is more homogeneous. A fervently Catholic lifestyle is evident wherever you go, from the big cities to the countryside. And you will find that this also affects people's social and private lives. Women tend to marry younger, families are larger, and the weekly mass is a common ritual. On the other hand, in the United States, Christianity predominates. 7 out of 10 inhabitants consider themselves to be practicing this religion, and with 48.9% of them as Protestants and 23% as Catholics. In Mexico, meanwhile, 83% of the religious population call themselves Catholic. On the ranking of the 50 most dangerous cities on the planet, Mexico has 12 cities on the list. This makes clear the complicated relationship that this country has with the issue of security. Analyzing the numbers, in 2018, 73% of the population said they feel insecure. So the government is making great efforts to provide solutions and establish a larger budget for security issues. For its part, the United States has been decreasing over time its crime rates. In New York City, to take an example, 290 homicides were registered in 2017, the lowest number since 1951. Although it continues to be the official leader in mass shootings. The Mexican economy has been increasingly geared toward manufacturing since the North American Free Trade Agreement came into effect in 1994. Per capita income, it is about 1/3 that on the US, with the income distribution being highly unequal. Mexico has become the second largest export market in the US and the third largest source of imports. In 2016, bilateral trade in goods and services exceeded $579 billion. The US, for its part, has the most technological, powerful economy on the planet, with a per capita gross domestic product of $57,300. American companies are at the forefront of technological advances, especially in computers, pharmaceuticals, medical equipment, aerospace, and in military. However, its advantage has shrunk since the end of the Second World War, with China currently stealing much ground from it in the global economic framework. Between the trade war between these two countries mentioned, it is said that it was Mexico who was the winner. And so we end this video in which we review 10 differences between the United States and Mexico. But now is your turn! Comment what other difference you will add to the list. Share the video, follow us on our social networks. We have Facebook and Instagram. And subscribe to the channel! Thanks for watching!